Let's go. I was born to kill it. I was meant to win. I am down and willing, so I will find a way. It took a minute, now it didn't happen right away. When it get hot in the kitchen, you decide to stay. That's how it winners made. Stick a fork in the hater on my dinner plate. I walk into the fire like it's just a bit of flame. I switch my style up, push the money pile up. I'ma get rich with life. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Podcast, where we are featuring the athletes of the 2024 CrossFit Semifinals. And for the third year in a row, I have the privilege and honor to talk with Callista Lang. Callista, how you doing?
Good, you?
I'm great. The only thing is I had to have blood drawn this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're dialed into a nutrition plan and you have to fast, it just throws your day off.
Oh, 100%.
So
I recently had to get blood drawn, and like I couldn't eat till I think like it was like 11, and I was dying. I was so hungry. Couldn't drink coffee either. I was like,
I know,
going down.
So I'm a baby because I got in a little after 8 o'clock this morning, but I couldn't have coffee, and my wife, I had to drop her off at work, and she's telling me how to drive the whole way. I have no coffee in my system. She's telling me how to drive. It was bad news right off the get-go.
Yeah, I'm someone that when I wake up, I need my coffee. So when I had to wait, I was like, this is not going to be good.
Yeah. I didn't start drinking coffee till I was 50 years old.
Really?
Yeah. And now I cannot get enough of it.
Yeah. I started when I was so young, but I just genuinely love the taste of it. Like I don't even need really cream or anything in it. Like I just like the taste of coffee.
Yeah, I'm with you now too. It started at the Mayhem Classic back in 2020, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was so tired. And they had just opened up the coffee shop. So they were like promoting their coffee for free. And I just was guzzling it like nobody's business. And now that's all I drink.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm so pumped to have you back. I've been following your career ever since we got to meet a couple years ago. And then you came so close to making the games that first year.
Yeah.
Before we get into all that, you're selling an exclusive shirt again this year. And I want to share that so everybody can see it.
Awesome.
And so we have the shirt is right there. Cool print.
Yep.
Got the last name up on top.
Yep.
Is that a tiger or a panther?
It's a tiger.
Tiger.
Yeah.
With the words "never accept defeat."
Yep.
I can play the video and it'll get to the front eventually, but we have to like get through. I'll let you talk about it as the guy speaks.
Okay. Yeah. So putting out a shirt this year, tigers have always kind of been just like my animal. Like I really resonate with them. They're my favorite animal. So I always want a tiger on my semi shirt, no matter what. So this company that I work with, Hustle Never Stops, they've been behind me for almost a year and a half now. They're awesome. And they always help me out every year to kind of come up with a shirt, just to support my trip to semis and travel and all of that stuff. So the guy, Daniel, he came up with this design. I loved it right away. So he's like so talented. And I love it so much. And I'm just happy that like we can put out something cool together, help them out. He helps me out. So just good people.
So the proceeds from this help to pay your travel expenses to the 2024 semifinals. How can people get their hands on this?
So right now I have the link in my story. You can click on that and it will take you right there. You can also go on Hustle Never Stops website and it's right there. You can just order it from the website. And then those proceeds come to me to help me. So
awesome. So now to you, the athlete, you've been doing this a long time. You did this as a teen athlete. You're now a full-fledged adult, competing at the semifinal level for a couple years now. My first question to you is, I've been following you. In the first year we talked to you, you came in 6th
at semis
Yep.
when they took 5.
Yeah.
The following year, you took 6th and they took 5, right?
Yes.
And last year, you kind of fell off a bit.
Mhm.
Was there a reason for the fall off, or did you identify something you needed to work on? Now, granted, the fields doubled,
Mhm.
right? So we went from 30 to 60.
Right.
But last year you went to 21st.
Yes.
So what have you identified as the reason for that?
I think that programming came down to a lot of it last year. I definitely had some big holes that I really needed to fill, and last year's programming really kind of showed me what I really needed to work on. I think that when I went to Atlas Games, I got really lucky. There was a lot of like heavy it was very heavily gymnastics based. There were a lot of high skill movements. And I think I just did better at that programming style. Last year was a little bit on the heavier side. We have the heavy dumbbells, we have the heavy sled, and I'm just a smaller athlete in general. And I've always been kind of hammering my strength just as the years go on. But I think that really kind of showed me what I really needed to work on in terms of that. And also, too, I kind of just felt like I was plateauing a little bit in my training. So there was that as well. And I just think last year, also to the field, I feel like not only grew, but got a lot more competitive too, just because we were all in one spot as compared to like years prior where we all kind of like spread out at different semifinals. So it was definitely a lot more challenging and competitive last year as well too. So
yeah, it doesn't get any easier for the East, right? Like
no.
like just when you think like, okay, this person's not coming, then Tia gets to come this year to the East,
Right.
and then Haley's coming back, and
Yep.
you're like, oh my goodness, like, can we get a break?
Yeah. And it's cool because I feel like I've competed against a lot of these women for a long time. So it's cool to get to like see them at the semifinal stage again. But I also know how good of athletes they are and how hard it is to compete against them. So yeah.
So it's funny you talk about the programming last year because we pulled Rebecca Fuselier aside in the West last year, and she talked about like it was not a small athlete programmed event, right?
Not at all.
And this was like midway through the weekend, and she's like, and I know it, like there's nothing I can do about it at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hitting PRs, but
Right.
it's my PRs and the heavy stuff are not enough to get me to where I want to be.
Yep.
Do you feel this? Do you feel like, can you commiserate with that?
Yes, 100%. Like last year, I was so proud of my 180 snatch. That was a tie PR for me. But I think it took like 20, maybe like 30th in the event. But for me, that was a huge win. Like snatching, especially under fatigue after the runner. So yeah, that was huge for me. And I think I had a lot of wins throughout the weekend personally. That didn't necessarily reflect on the leaderboard, but I think, yeah, 100%. I think there was some stuff that kind of went towards the smaller athletes, but at the same time, there was just as much that were kind of better for the bigger athletes or the more like powerful ones. So,
well, and they take an event like a ring muscle up that would be good for the smaller athlete, and they add a rucksack to it to make it a heavy event, right?
Yes, exactly.
So they just added the heavy to everything. It felt like last year.
Yeah.
So okay. So this year, we now know what the events are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking with Saxon Panchek, and like these workouts, every one of them has a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
Right. Like you got to do some moderately heavy clean and jerks, but you have to run 800 meters a bunch too. So
Mhm.
a yin and a yang, right? You have to row on a machine, but handstand push-ups come after, or not handstand walks come after that. So
Yep.
yin and yang, right? Like everything is like that. And he said like all Sunday this year is going to be execution.
100%. Yep.
And so when you look at that programming, that's way more classic CrossFit.
Mhm.
Are you excited or worried?
Very, very excited.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that these workouts, I first of all, I love them. I think they're so well programmed. Like you said, like you have your running, but then you also have your moderately heavy barbell. In the second workout, you have your gymnastics with your toe to bar and your double unders, but then you have that 155 front squat. Like there's little bits and pieces where you can see, oh, a smaller athlete's going to do well in this part of the workout, but then a bigger athlete is going to do well in this part of the workout. And I think that really shows you who is the most well-rounded, like who can do the gymnastics well, but who can also move the barbell well and do that all under fatigue and everything like that. I tend to thrive under workouts like that, especially these workouts are a little on the longer side too. The caps are a little bit longer, which is something that's pretty good for me. So I'm super excited. When they announced all the workouts, like I had a huge smile on my face. I was like, these are fun. These are going to be good.
So it's funny because that yin and yang thing is cool because even when I started CrossFit in like 2011 in my gym, there I had an arch rival that I wanted to beat in every workout, right?
Mhm.
And he was really good at the running and the gymnastics, and I was really good at the barbell and that kind of thing, right?
Yep.
And so then it becomes a strategy thing like, okay, I know he's going to get me on this, but I just have to stay within X and I know I can catch him here.
Mhm.
Is that is that the stuff that's going to be going through all the athletes' minds all weekend?
I think so, but I also think it's like you have to still run your own race. You have to still know yourself as an athlete and not kind of let anyone else get in your head almost. Like and I feel like a lot of too the fact that we've had these workouts for so long, you have so much time to practice and strategize and see like where you can make up time here, where you can make up time there. So I really think that like you said, Sunday is definitely going to come down to execution. I feel like the people that are kind of like ready for the weekend, like it's all going to come down to how they execute, running their own race, not letting someone kind of get the better of them or have them race a different way because they're actually like with other people on the floor.
The run's going to be on the road, on the flat surface, the mountain,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you're at. I don't, who knows, but it's not going to be on an air runner.
Yep.
I'm so disappointed because it would be so cool as a spectator to be able to watch those races.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of the watch 20 people on an air runner and you just get to see the click of a little thing saying, okay, 200, okay,
Yeah.
400, right?
Right. Right.
Um, it, but how excited are you as an athlete that you'll get to see where you are in the pack?
I think honestly, I'm like super excited. I think it's going to give a better opportunity. I think it's going to be more fun for the athletes. Like you can actually race and you know where the person is with you. Um, I honestly think that running on the ground kind of gives us all like an even playing field. Like you said, like last year in the programming too, there was a lot of machines. Machines are obviously a little more biased towards the bigger, heavier athletes. You can get a lot more power out of it. So I think that the fact that we're running on the ground really is going to kind of like showcase our like us as athletes a little bit more. And I think that will be more exciting too, just for like all of us.
So I've been to the venue in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on a flat piece of ground.
Right.
Um, the venue itself inside is not big enough to like build a track.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably going to be running hills.
Mm-hmm.
Advantage or disadvantage?
I think, um, I mean, we're all going to have to do it. We're all going to be running those hills if they're hills. So, I mean, for me personally, where I've been running with my coach, we have a little bit of a hill. So I'm kind of used to running up a hill and then going right to that barbell. It does not feel good. But if that's the case, I mean, we're all going to have to do it. So.
Any difference if you have to run downhill to the barbell?
I don't know, because I feel like running downhill, it's kind of like, at least for me, I'm like kind of like just like running without a lot of control. So maybe if we have to run downhill, like honestly, I think it might jack my heart rate even more than if I had to run uphill.
Yeah. Whenever I was running back in the day, like every downhill, I would just let it rip.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity helped me out of control.
Yeah, exactly.
Make up the time where I can.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you been to that? You did the MAC, but it was at the other arena then, right?
Yeah, it was at a different venue. So I've never been to the Syndicate venue.
Yeah. It's a really cool place because like the seats are elevated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool. And I think you'll like it a lot. But the only thing I can think of is they have these like loading docks. Like if you look at the floor where the finish line was, right behind that were loading docks.
Okay.
All I can think of is you're going to run out through that door out somewhere to do something.
Yeah.
So this year you come in a really good position, like better than you've ever done before. Does that give you confidence that changes you've made in the off season are paying off?
100%. I think for me, just personally as an athlete, I feel the fittest I've ever felt. And I feel really good going into this season. I think the leaderboard kind of reflected that with the quarters workout. So I'm really happy with where I'm going and really happy to just showcase all the hard work I put in during the off season.
Did you do any off season comps?
I did Wodapalooza.
Okay.
I think that was probably the biggest one that I did. I also did Metcon Rush too. So those were two
Metcon Rush.
Yeah, such a fun competition. So I did those two kind of bigger ones. Metcon Rush was so much fun. I was really happy with how that went. Wodapalooza more so was for me to kind of just, one, it was my first year doing Wodapalooza, so I've never experienced it before. So it's just like an experience in itself. But also two, I just wanted to be able to go to a bigger competition and work with my coach there before semifinals, because I had just recently switched under him. So we kind of just wanted to get like that in-person feel of how I am in a competition, how he is in competition, and just kind of know each other more before going to semis so that it's not new to us.
And what a time to test your relationship as coach athlete than sensory overload with weather changes constantly.
Yes. Yep.
So how did that work out?
It was good. I mean, I really had a lot of fun that weekend. It was more so I didn't really train for it at all. Just because kind of working under my new coach, he had this really planned for me to really like peak during the season for semifinals, to potentially get a spot to the games. So it was more so just kind of go have fun, see what happens type of competition. So I had a lot of fun just because I didn't put a ton of pressure on myself. My placing like wasn't the best, but I knew that I wasn't really there to place well. I was there to kind of just see what I needed to work on, see how our athlete to coach relationship was, and just kind of have fun. So it was a good experience.
So I think there's two attitudes with off-season comps, right? You're either there to win some prize money, right? Support yourself through the season, or you're there to test things out. Right. And it's okay to be either way. Sometimes the fans don't understand though. And like, why'd you finish blah, blah, blah. Right. But I've talked to people who are like, well, this comp, I just wanted to go and see what I could hold on to, like
Mhm.
go all out and see where I broke down.
Yep.
I got a frog. Hold on. Okay. So does that change for you from comp to comp?
I definitely think so. Some competitions, like for example, Metcon Rush, that was a competition I did to get on the podium, win some money. Again, Wadapalooza was for fun to go up against athletes, amazing athletes that I would be competing up at the games. So just kind of getting experience in that elite division, being with my coach, seeing how we worked in competition. So yeah, it all has to do, and just like obviously every competition is different in programming. It can really show you, okay, I did really well in this workout. Maybe that's not something I need to work on as much in training anymore. And I didn't do so great in this workout, so this is what we need to kind of work on. So, yeah.
And you succeeded at both.
Mm,
You podiumed at Metcon Rush,
yep.
and you got to test out the relationship with your coach at Wadapalooza.
Yep.
So now going into this season, what's the realistic expectation?
I want to make it to the games this year. That's my goal. That's my expectation. I think that if I go out on the floor that weekend of semifinals and I execute, I can get a spot to the games.
And you've proven that you have the capacity and the ability by missing by one spot a couple times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You changed coaches.
Yep.
So what has that been like? And who are you with now?
So I'm with Tommy Pomatico with Conquer Athlete. It's been amazing to say the least. I think that making the switch under him has not only helped me as an athlete, like fitness wise, but also too just confidence wise. And I think that's why I can really sit here and say that I'm going for the games this year. He has put so much time and energy and effort into me, and it really just shows in how much I've progressed since starting with him. I've only been with him since I think November. And just the leaps and bounds that I've made with him over such a short period of time, it just makes me so excited for what we could do in a year or 2 years. And one of the big reasons why I moved back up to New York was so that I could train with him and my training partner, Nikki. We both trained together. We're both under him. I just wanted to have that environment and be with other athletes. And so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm training with them at CrossFit Milford. We train with the team. They have a team going to semis this year as well. So just kind of being in that environment and being pushed by all these amazing athletes has been a game changer for me. So it was definitely the switch I needed.
You've been doing this since you've been a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And you still look like a teenager, but but you've been doing this for a while. I can't remember, when did you first start?
I started in 2015. But I was just I didn't start like being competitive until probably the end of 2016. So I did CrossFit for a year where I was just going to the gym every morning with my mom and doing class and then going to school, being a normal teenager.
So when you say like you switch coaches, and how much of that is just like you just needed something different because you've been at this for so long?
Yeah.
Like, is there like a newness to it that gives you like makes it easier to train this year?
I think so. Yeah. I think, having that change, it really kind of lit a fire under me. And just being with other athletes as well has really lit a fire under me. I think last year with the programming in semifinals, it really kind of showed you that all of these new things can really pop up and you really need to stay on top of the sport if you want to be able to progress. And just with all of the new movements that showed up really out of nowhere. And I just really needed a coach that was like really, really into the sport and knew kind of what was happening and all the little new things that could pop up potentially, so that when I got to competition, I wasn't blindsided by any movement or didn't train that movement enough. So that was something that was kind of a big factor into why I switched over as well.
Do you work full time or part time or to support yourself?
Yeah, I'm a full-time CrossFit coach. So I work at 2 CrossFit gyms and coach at both of them.
Is there a goal someday that you won't have to do that?
Yes, 100%.
Um, I do a show with Carolyn Prevost,
Mhm.
and she takes a lot of pride that she's a full-time school teacher
Mhm.
and a professional athlete at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think it means more to her when she shows what she can do, knowing she can't spend full time being an athlete.
Right.
Do you ever get that sense of pride? I think she got a phone call, maybe. There we go. I have you back. Callista. Oh no. We have lost Callista for a second. Hopefully she'll make it back in. So if you've missed today, we had Saxon Panchek on right before this. That's available out there now. We're going to be interviewing Kyra Milligan this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Be sure to check that one out. We also interviewed Aaliyah Miller. Oh, we have a second screen. And there she
Sorry
is.
about that.
Okay. I am going to kick your other. There we go.
Computer just completely died on me.
Okay. Yeah, it just went to a circle thing in black. I don't even remember what I was saying. I was just running down promos for the show while you were hopping back on.
It was about working full-time job and
Yeah.
training as well.
Is there a sense of pride that you don't have the full day to train, and yet you're still very, very competitive?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I feel like it was really hard too, just when I was a college student and I was dedicating a lot of time to school and training. And it's tough too, being a coach as well. Like, I'm on my feet for 6 hours a day, not including training. So it's really, really taxing on my body. Um, but I just think that it kind of like when I get out there, I'm like, you worked really, really hard for this. And no matter what was kind of going on, how much you had to do, you had no excuses. And it kind of makes it like a little bit like the reward a little bit sweeter, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. So the week of the comp, you're going to be going to Knoxville. Do you take time away from your coaching job to kind of like get the body ready for this
Yeah.
competition?
Yeah, I did that for quarterfinals as well. I took almost the whole week off from coaching just so I could really focus on training. I'll probably do the same thing. I might coach a little bit. I know I leave on Wednesday, so I might coach a little bit on Monday and Tuesday, but nothing crazy, and just really prioritize recovery, sleep, making sure I'm doing all of that because that's what's super, super important.
So if you punch your ticket to the CrossFit Games, what kind of celebration will that be like?
Oh, I mean, probably gonna cry just because 'cause it's been such a long time, but, definitely gonna go out, gonna celebrate with my family and my loved ones that are there, and have a glass of prosecco. That's my drink.
Okay. Any food choice to celebrate?
I'm really into sushi, so I might have to do a lot of sushi.
You and my daughter. Everywhere my daughter goes, she looks for like the sushi place.
Yep, I love it.
And she's probably right around your age too. She's 22.
Yep, 23.
Yeah, she'll be 23 in July.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. So do you have a big contingent heading down to Knoxville?
Yeah, my family is coming. Got a couple friends coming as well, so I'm super excited. Most of the people that are usually there to support me are going to be down there as well. So, and then I have just the whole kind of Conquer crew that's going to be there as well. The team, my other training partner. We have some people from that gym coming down as well. So I'm excited.
So who handles the accommodations? Do you do that yourself, or do you have family member or?
My mom took care of it this year.
Nice.
Thankfully. Yeah. It was a big weight lifted off my shoulders, her just kind of like figuring things out. But they usually stay on top of it.
So, as always, it's been a blast having you on. We'll be there rooting for you.
Thank you.
And can't wait to see what you do. Hope this is the year. You've been so close.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me on.
Just go up to T and be like, "This is my house."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you everybody that's in the chat. It's been a blast hanging out with you today. And we'll see everybody next time on the Clydesdale Media Podcast, where we are featuring the athletes of the 2024 CrossFit Semifinals. Bye, guys.